Khamenei, you have devoted your time to Canada and your trip to Canada in order to campaign to prevent another massacre in Camp Ashraf. I'd like to know, what is your opinion about Nuri Malki's deadline and to close Camp Ashraf by the end of the year?
Nuri's deadline is artificial. There is no reason to do that. He is, first off, people need to understand Nuri Malki cannot be trusted. And Nuri Malki is like Saddam resurrected, except this Saddam is very, very close with the Iranian regime. He's very, very close with Muqtada Sadr. And you have a group of people who for years have fought for democracy in Iran. And the Iranian government, Ahmadinejad and Khamenei, wants the Mujahideen turned over to them for imprisonment, torture, and execution. Malki is doing the bidding of Ahmadinejad and Khamenei, and he's going to use his military forces, which are heavily infiltrated by Muqtada Sadr, to do it.
Thank you. Could you please briefly tell us what must be done in order to prevent this massacre?
The first thing that must be done is that deadline needs to cease and desist. The residents of Ashraf, this issue that Malki has created, saying he's going to go ahead and move them out of there, is ludicrous at best, because at Ashraf they already have their own life support. They're able to feed themselves, even though it's hard to get food in. Unfortunately, he's denying the medical facilities and everything. But to make a deadline for no reason and say he's going to go ahead and move them out, there's absolutely no reason to do that. Now, what needs to happen is get the deadline stopped. And also, we need to go in and bring the Mujahideen al-Khalq out of Iraq and put them in a safe and secure location and work with them, until which time the UNHCR refugee status can be worked, and then let them go on and continue their lives.
Appreciate it. As I mentioned prior, I understand that you have devoted a lot of time and energy for this cause. And since this is being broadcasted by Iran and TV, would you have any messages for Ashraf residents? And also, if you could brief us in this about your attending the hearing and what went on in this Canadian Parliament.
To the Camp Ashraf residents, as we stood beside each other, and we moved together, and we worked together in time of combat. We have worked together in the past. We are really working together right now. They are holding the resistance. They are staying the fight and not breaking and allowing the Maliki government to torment them into submission. And as I am here in the United States and Canada, we're serving together just like we did before. And serving together will always remain. To the citizens of Iran, democracy is coming. And the Ayatollahs, the mullahs, and the fundamentalist regime will not be able to stop the progress of democracy. It will come to Iran. And I want to make sure that the United States, Canada, and the rest of the world, the free world, plays a positive role in that.
Could you please, for the last question, could you brief us about the hearing in Canadian Parliament today?
The Canadian Parliament hearing today was exceptional. I've been asked the best questions that I think I've been asked before, and we were given a full hour to go through all the details. We reviewed the history of the Mujahideen al-Khalq, going all the way back to the CIA overthrow of the Iranian government in 1953, why the MEK was developed, the founding philosophies of the leadership, which are the clerics don't have total control over the congregations, the clerics don't have total rule over the interpretation of the scriptures, and there is equality between those in leadership positions and those being led. Opposition tries to say that is Marxism, that's Leninism. Marx and Lenin I point out that sounds just like Jefferson and Madison, and Ronald Reagan would have had no problems with any of those philosophies, and we all know Ronald Reagan was no communist. To the Iranian people, I also appreciate your standing and you're trying to wanting to change your country and the oppressive rule that you're under, and time will come and the fundamentalist regime will not be in power any more than any other oppressive regime has permanently remained in power.
Thank you, Colonel, for giving us the time, and it's been a pleasure. با تشکر از شما وحیده خبرنگار ایران اشرف آزادی.
Now I may be leaving Ashraf, but a great part of Ashraf will be saved. MEK is not a terrorist organization.